Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, individuals that can help us thrive in our lives and our business. I have a very, very special guest for me today. I met her back in November. She is not from the West Michigan area, but she is world renowned. She's done, for all my Toastmasters friends, she's done 2 TED Talks, and she's probably going to do another one. She just wrote a book called The More Method, and I bought it at the event that I was at with Tony Rubleski. West Michigan knows this, and she knows Tony well. But we talk about in this book and how we can pivot in 2021. So I want to welcome to the show, thank you so much for being here, Jen Groover, from author, a successful entrepreneur. She has made it, and she has been all over the world to tell us how we can pivot in 2021. Thank you for the show. Thank you for being here today, Jen.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right.
We're more intentional about what we're doing. We're getting more out of every one of our experiences instead of just kind of whirling through our day aimlessly.
Hoping to find success. Okay. And so, all right, finish up your more thing. Did you finish that, or I'm jumping into another question?
I just have one more, which is the E. In order to get more of everything we desire in life, the E stands for excelling in all aspects of life. So learning about holistic success. Most people think success is just in their professional sector. And when you only think that, all these other things start to fall apart, like your health as you get older, your relationships. You wake up one day and you're like, who are these children I'm sending off to college? I don't even know because I wasn't there all these years. So when we learn how to identify the 4 core quadrants of our lives, which is our health and well-being, our relationships, our professional achievement, and then our personal evolution. And if we fuel all 4 core quadrants of our lives every day, we think in terms of success as I want all my relationships to be successful. I want to be successful in my health and well-being. I want to be successful within my own personal evolution, being better today than yesterday, and so on. Then your professional achievement cannot fail. And most people do it the other way. They go into their professional achievement quadrant, forget the other 3, and then all of a sudden the wheels start to fall off the bus in the middle of their lives, and they're like, what just happened? And so real fulfillment, which is what we're looking for in our search for success, happens when we approach life seeking holistic success.
Well, okay, so I have a lot here, so I know you're valuable. One thing I liked was the golden nugget in this one. It was the meditation. You talk about people. I have been struggling trying to get that into my routine, and you came right out and said you can do your meditation when you do vacuuming, laundry. You have going to be saving a lot of people because we all think it has to be a certain way. Can you share that? Because that was a gold nugget. I was telling my husband about that.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with this for so long, Pamela, because my brain is so busy. And I literally thought, like, I need to do, like, and everything's just quiet. And I'd be like, how are those people doing that? Like, they're really not thinking things. I've got to be thinking things right now. So I learned that meditation can be, just like what you said, vacuuming. It's something that brings you into a present state. It's something that calms you and grounds you. But what I really found to work best for me were what's called Biomoral Beats. And Biomoral Beats are something you can Google them and find
what is that?
Videos on YouTube. But they basically, you use your earbuds and they change the frequency of your brain and put your brain into a different state, which is what meditation does. That's the whole principle of meditation, is to change your brain state. And so depending on, with Biomoral Beats, depending on whether you want to get more focused, you want to get more energy, or you want to get more grounded and just a little bit more lower in energy, you can find the Biomoral Beats Hertz. It's all based on Hertz that get you to that state, which takes you from alpha to beta, theta, whichever state your brain, you want your brain to be in. And it's kind of a biohack, it's a mind hack to get you there. And you listen to it, and often people will fall asleep within like minutes. And it's okay if you do, because you're still getting the restorativeness of your brain that you need for meditation. Now, one other thing in Biomoral Beats that they do is many of them have subconscious programming in them. So when you fall asleep, let's say you want to make more money, and you want to do a Biomoral Beat one that has about financial success, it's literally programming your brain as you're resting. And when you're dozed off, your editor, your conscious mind, is not editing anymore, which allows your subconscious mind to absorb the information faster and to then allow your subconscious mind to evolve faster, which is what we need to do. Our subconscious mind is what sabotages us the most if we're not aware. And so basically, I found that meditation was such an important part of my day, because prior to, I'd be like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm too busy. And
I say the same thing, or trying to fit it in. But now that I read your book, I'm thinking, oh, I feel like when I'm doing dishes, it's something I can complete. But now I was doing the same thing, but I thought I had to be sitting on the couch, you know what I mean, eyes closed, trying to do this.
Yeah, you don't. Walking can be very meditative. Walking and just listening to calming music is very meditative. Being out in nature is meditative.
Right. Okay. So all right. So all right. We talked about that. Now, what is powerful words? And now let's talk about how people's brains are like a cluttered closet. I love that term. I feel like that way. It's kind of like having too many windows open in your computer today, multitasking and not really completing. Can you share how we can get that clutter out and focus? Like we all want to be like you. We want to know what the heck we're doing and moving and take action. But what does that look like every day?
So that's why the whole reason I do meditation in the middle of the day is because of this thesis that I believe it works for me and many people. When we wake up in the morning, our brain is fresh. We just got done, hopefully, a restful sleep, and our brains are clear and ready to go. But because we're being bombarded in our society now, no matter who you are, unless you're living off the grid, you're getting information coming at you from so many different directions. You're using multiple devices. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, your brain has become cluttered. So the way I see it is, you wake up in the morning, your brain looks like a very organized, neat, color-coded closet, which I love. My closet with everything, short sleeve to long sleeve, color-coded, shoes are perfectly aligned, then it's boots. But by the afternoon, my brain looks like a closet that I went through and I couldn't find something to wear, and I just threw everything in a rush, and there's just stuff everywhere. And so if I went back into that closet to find what I needed, it's going to be a lot harder to find what I need because it's just a cluttered mess. And so the midday meditation for me is cleaning my closet. So I get all my files back in order. So I'm more capable of being laser focused, accessing the information that I need when I need it. Because we know what that mental jumble feels like. And I try to get rid of that mental jumble through that midday meditation. And what it really does, even if it's just 20 minutes, it cleans that cluttered closet and allows you to be more productive for the rest of the day, and not needing, a lot of people are like, I need midday caffeine, or I need midday candy, which is the worst thing that you could do for yourself. Like literally the worst, most sabotaging thing in the middle of the day is eating any type of sugar, because what happens then is your insulin spikes up, kind of numbs your brain, and then crashes back down and just makes you a heck of a lot worse off than where you started.
Well, and by the end of the day, some of us just go over our day and we just beat ourselves up that we didn't accomplish anything. And I'm not sure if you do that. You sounds like you've got a system going on. Share with people who are like, I'm just tired of self-talk. I should have did this. Why did I take so long? Why did I go to that? That was a waste of time. Can you share a little bit about that?
When you beat up yourself, you're lowering your frequency. So my frequency is my priority. And while I fully reflect on my days and fully reflect on how I can be better, I really give myself grace to be human. And so, with the to-do list, I find very important. I know when I create my to-do list, I'm not getting everything done on my to-do list that I'm putting on there. But the more I put on there, the more likely I am to get done. So that's why I push myself. I push the envelope a little bit. But I also give myself grace that whatever I don't get done that day, I just move to the next day. And then if I don't get it done, I just move it to the next day. And so I love feeling accomplishment. I love the feeling of achievement and feeling productive. But I also believe very much in balance. So I also love taking a few days off and going to Miami. I just got back from Miami. I was in Miami. I went on Friday. I came back on Tuesday. And when I'm there, I'm not working. I'm barely looking at my emails. I actually took my emails out of my phone. I can access them from my phone, but they don't show up on my phone. So I believe in that balance of, I work like I was an athlete. So I was a sprinter in track. I was in the Junior Olympics. And sprinters, they go all out, all in, hardcore until full exhaustion, and then they need a break. And that is literally how I live my life. I sprint, I take a break. I sprint, I take a break. And it's just part of my nature and how I feel that I produce the best. And I believe that most people actually do. If you watch or if you follow the 4-hour work week, this was a premise of what that whole
Can we really do 4 hours a week and be successful? How many hours
No.
you week? How many do you work a week?
No, but I definitely, in the summer, I only work 3 days a week. Literally 3 days a week in the summer. I don't work Fridays or Mondays. I might look at my emails. I might on Mondays and Fridays look at my emails and maybe do a couple things, but I don't schedule any meetings. I don't have expectations of myself of doing anything amazing. I work harder January through May, and then the summer I work 3 days a week, and then September through November to Thanksgiving, I sprint again, and then Thanksgiving through New Year's, I minimize my expectations, because what I realized too is no one else is doing anything at that time. I mean, no one's making things happen at that time. I used to find myself so frustrated trying to push an agenda that wasn't going to happen until January. So I now know this about life and the cycle of life and the cycle of most people. And if I'm working with companies, they don't care. They're still getting paid every day. They're just showing up and doing the least amount possible. So
how do you suffer through that? Talk about that really. Give me an example of your day. You wake up, Mondays you have off. Okay, Tuesday, what is a working day for Jen?
Every day is honestly a different day. Yesterday I was up at 6 a.m. and I was at the gym and I did a class, and then I was home and I was just cranking out all these virtual meetings and recordings and creating new one sheets for different trainings that I'm doing, and reaching out to old clients and letting them know about this, reaching out to my speakers bureau. Today, I woke up and I did emails first, and then I took a shower, and here I am with you. And then when we're off, I have another meeting in actual live meeting in Westchester, which is near my home, at this new company that my friend started for potentially working together. And then after that, I'll come back home and I'll do more emails and do more phone calls. So every day is a different day. When life is normal, I'm on the road a lot. So when people say, what's a typical day? I don't have one. I just make sure that I'm structuring each day as it allows me to structure it.
Well, I see that, you're more booked. So let me know we're at the 5 minute, because I want to do that table topics thing to bring value to my Toastmasters. But on this more, I see you have more the regret thing. I noticed that as I age, that I'm talking to a lot of people that have regrets, and you probably met them. So what impact do you want this book? Because we all want more, Jen, and we all want what you have. You're beautiful, you're successful, and a lot of women are like, yeah, well, look at her, wonder why she's so successful. You probably get that. And then say to yourself, what exactly the impact this can bring to people that are sitting back having regrets right now?
Yeah, so it's funny when people do say that. They're like, oh, she was probably like a cheerleader back in high school and everything just worked out for her. And I crack up because everything wasn't. I mean, so many bad things were happening that I could have gone down a different path, and I chose not to. And I also believe that your energy is the exchange that people are attracted to. So what makes you a magnet to people is the energy. So if I came on here with low energy and kind of negative, I would eventually appear very differently than I do right now, I would assume. And we've all been around that too. So I've been around people that aren't the best looking people in the room, but they're the most magnetic people in the room. So remember that your energy is the energy exchange that attracts people.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk. I'm glad to hear that, and I do believe that. I bring energy to my show. I really want you to look fabulous, and I want to look fabulous. I want us to both bring value to the community, and that's why I wanted to bring you to West Michigan. So let's talk about I'm huge into Toastmasters. We shared that before the show. Let's talk about TED Talks. You've been on 2. What does it take to get on one? And do you have like an after party and they get to pick your brain? Because a lot of times I'm like, oh, there's so much I wanted to ask her, if I saw your TED Talk. So share the experience of TED Talks.
So as a speaker for over 20 years, it's one of the most challenging speaking engagements I've done. To know that you have to fit an entire thesis in what used to be 15 minutes is now 12 minutes. And each word has to be succinct. So when I speak, I'm a freestyle speaker. I know the points I want to make, but I can ramble on different stories and just feel the energy of the audience. With the TED Talk, you cannot do that. Every word is succinct, leading to the next thesis or the next sentence that's really boiling down to your points. And you know that it's getting videotaped and going to be shared potentially with millions of people. So
Yeah,
you have that part to do. So the thing that the first TED Talk I got just fell in my lap. I actually spoke at Penn, and a bunch of the students that were in that room were in charge of the TED Talks for Penn. So they approached me and asked me to be one of the TED Talk speakers for that next round. So that one fell in my lap. The next one I applied to. You know, each one you apply to, you have to apply to something that is appropriate for who you are and what you're speaking to. That's whatever that theme is. And then you have to be creative. So look at all the other TED Talks that are successful. Look how they stage their title. That's how you need to stage your title. Your title can't be literal. It has to be a hook. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you have to be proposing a unique thesis. And when you do your 2-minute video that you have to send in now for most of them, make sure you're energetic and enthusiastic and engaging, because their whole concern is that you're going to, when it's live, people are paying to be in that audience, that you're going to waste the time of the audience and that they're going to look bad. So how do you make the person that's putting it together look good? And then once you get it, you just need to practice literally all day, every day.
How much did you practice for it? Can you share with me?
I don't even know, hours. For a good 2 months, hours. I'd be brushing my teeth and I'd be thinking, I'd be in the shower and I'd think it, I'd be driving and thinking it. I would chunk it down. So I took my 12-minute speech and chunked it into 4 minutes. And then I would practice it into 8 minutes and a 4-minute. And then eventually it came together as a whole speech. And that's
Did you write it out? Did you write out your speech first?
Yeah, you have to. You have to send it in. It has to be approved.
Okay, and then got it in there, you know, because Tony was saying, I was sharing with him, he's coaching me on my contest. He's like, you're going to even say it faster when you're on stage. Is that do you experience that?
Yeah, you have to just go, like just really go, which is not hard for me because I speak fast to begin with, and it's actually my more natural state. For some people, it is a lot more challenging, but you have to write the whole thing out. You have a coach, whoever's the coordinator is like the coach, and they come back with the feedback. You might not agree with them. The last lady I worked with, we like went at it back and forth for a little while. I wasn't agreeing with some of the things that she was saying to do, and we eventually came to a really good place on it. But it's really about execution once you're on that stage to captivate the audience and make sure that you're providing a new thesis, something unique and different. So my last one was why transformation trumps motivation. So for so long, leadership has been about let's motivate people. Let's make them do better by motivating them. And my whole thesis is that's not how you get long-term results. When you motivate someone, you're only igniting a fire in them. Right. But they'll eventually go back to their old patterns. You can't get new results from somebody until you help them transform who they are to transform long-term change.
Yeah, and okay, so all right, so I have a couple minutes with you, so let's talk. There's a part in Toastmasters that is called table topics, and you have to think on your feet, and you only have 2 minutes if you ever heard that. So I'm going to give you I'm going to go down the list here, and I want you to give me a sentence or two, and I want to show the value of this to my Toastmaster, especially you being a TED Talks and professional. All right, first one.
Hold on one second. The sentence is supposed to be teaching something.
Yes, what you've learned with your wisdom and your success. So let's start. Example being first one, goal setting. What?
The best goal setting strategies are the ones that have emotional connection to why you do what you do and what you want your legacy to be.
Good. Okay. Time management.
Time management is a strategy that maximizes time by being organized in your thought and predicting the days before they happen.
Sleep.
Kate?
Sleep.
Sleep. Sleep is an incredibly important activity that rests our brain and rejuvenates our body so we can perform at a high level every day.
Fitness, health. Either one.
Health. Your health is fundamental to your ability to optimize your potential and be successful.
Fear.
Fear. I have more fear of regret than I have of failure.
Good. All right. Business contracts.
Busy as contracts?
No, business.
Oh, business contracts.
What have you learned? Can you share with us? Because we all have to deal with doing them.
There's so many places I could go with that.
Can you give us in a nutshell?
Make sure your business contracts are as clear as possible and everybody understands their responsibilities and the consequences if they are not followed through upon.
Great. Okay. So, when this is kind of a sentence. So, when do you know it's time to walk away? Like, take the key. Your business is not. A lot of people might be experiencing that now.
Yeah, the hardest balance in life is to learn when to push forward and when to walk away, right? So learning to walk away is when you lose passion, when you lose a sense of conviction, and when you realize that maybe the timing of the world just isn't right.
Right. Okay. It's not the time. Okay. Good to do that. Self-talk. Talk.
Positive self-talk is the type of talk that's going to get you in the direction that you need to be in order to achieve the things you want to achieve.
All right. Childhood trauma. How overcoming childhood trauma? Give us something.
Everyone has childhood trauma to some degree. It's all relative, whether it's within your family or just some kid being mean to you at school. And the more we can acknowledge and heal our childhood trauma, the more we can achieve our potential.
Procrastination.
Procrastination is the thief of progress.
That's it? Okay. All right. 2 bonus one. 11. Nutrition. Give us what you do. Quick.
Nutrition is fundamental to your body's well-being and one of the most important things that you are in control of, adding value to your life with every day.
All right. Now here we go for all my Toastmasters. Tip. Public speaking, and I want one thing of give me some of us women, what is the best thing to wear? Because you had to go in front of hundreds of people. So public speaking.
Public speaking to me is being a messenger of higher thoughts or value to an audience. And whenever you're speaking, try not to be somebody else, but be your most authentic self and use your body as a vessel of communication from a higher consciousness. And what to wear, you're always safe with a powerful black dress and some powerful black stilettos.
Oh my God, that's great. I was wondering, I'm just going to ask. And then finishing up here, share if you can, what do you mean by the reset button? Just starting over, forgiving yourself, moving forward, getting away from your friends? What does it mean?
Yeah, so the mental reset button is a strategy. I actually can visualize like hitting the mental reset button in my head. Anytime I'm going down a negative thought pattern, anytime I'm frustrated, anytime I'm just not my best self, I have to pause and say, all right, just hit the mental reset button. And I literally think about hitting a delete button in my brain. And then I think of an opposing positive thought to program in my brain. So in the book, I talk about how I taught my daughters to this when my daughter said she was having a bad day. And I said, delete that thought and say, I only have good days. And so then you say that over and over again, I only have good days, I only have good days, I only have good days. So you literally short circuit the neural pathway in the brain that was the negative pattern. And you then trigger or start off a new neural pathway in your brain of a positive thought pattern.
Oh, cool. All right. So I want to, can you, I've interviewed you for like 30 minutes trying to pivot my Grand Tech Media. If I was sitting on a plane with you, any recommendations on how I can be a better interviewee so I can be successful in my endeavors?
So no, I mean, you did a great job. You asked great questions. You obviously showed up with incredible enthusiasm. I feel like we just drank 10 cups of coffee here. But
Okay.
I think what you did is so important, and a lot of interviewers don't do this. Is you did a lot of research, and you really knew who you were talking to and all the different layers. Most interviewers don't do that, and you can tell as the interviewee, you can tell immediately they have not done any research at all, which I always find to be baffling to me.
Yeah. And before you leave, on your questions after every chapter, was it hard to come up? Can you share with me real quickly? Was it hard to come up with those? Did it just, because ideas come to us. How did you come up with some of these questions? Because I'm writing it, and sometimes I don't want to, like I went through a divorce, example being, do I write that down? And so people are like, oh, it was a big endure, but can you share a little bit, how'd you come up with those questions? Because some of them are like hit right here, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to answer this,
Yeah. So I coach people a lot, and consult. So these are questions that I ask constantly, or I would just go back and read through the content and think about if I was reading this for the first time and then wanted to reflect on it, what question should I ask myself to draw out more insight and information? Because for me, I reflect all the time on things. It's innate in me. But I recognize as a speaker, coach, consultant, many people don't. And so I've gotten good at coaching people how to pull things out of themselves. And that's what those questions are meant to do.
Yeah, well, they did a good job, and this is kind of my diary. I have my questions, so it's exciting that I'm going through the questions, and also interviewing Jen is going to be like, who knows what this is going to look like, and if somebody were to pick it up in 5 or 6 years, I'm like, you actually interviewed the author? I'm like, I know, I interviewed the author. All right, and then so how do they get the book?
So Amazon, of course, or you can actually go to my publisher's site, which is more beneficial, not to me, but to everyone, because this is the first nonprofit publishing company ever, and it's called changeherstory.org.
Okay.
And the whole mission is to every author on this platform is a female who's gone through some sort of overwhelming experience in their lives and have utilized that experience to turn around and do good for the world. And so that money that they make goes back to creating more books for more authors to help the world.
Wow. Okay, that's a story in itself. And are you anytime coming to West Michigan? Because I love to do a book dedication at the second largest castle on earth. Remember we talked about that I have my office in. But if not, could we get a book and then we'll just have somebody step in for you and do it? I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, listen, if we can connect and plan like a book launch event of sorts, then I'm in. So at this moment, I don't have anything on the calendar, but if we can create something, a reason, I'll be there.
Okay. All right, great. All right, I want to thank you for being on my show. I'm so excited to share this with West Michigan. And this is Jen Groover. She just wrote the book, The More Method. I've been using it. I highly recommend it. And you can catch her on social media. You will watch one of her TED Talks. She's incredible. We want to wish you all the success, and hopefully you'll be able to come back in the future and give us an update. And because I know there's a lot of people that are going to be sending you stories on how this is helping them make a great 2021.
I love it. Connect with me on social media.
All righty. Take care, dear. Thank you.